Whether you're edge gluing several narrow boards together to make up a wider panel, or you're building something like maybe a window casing, you need straight boards. The best tool for that job is what we call a jointer here in the United States. We call it that because one of its main functions is to prepare edge joints. But what if you don't have a jointer available? There are ways to straighten the edge with a router table or a table saw, but they usually involve a special jig. Today, I'll show you a fast and easy way to joint an edge with no special jig. You'll only need a table saw and a scrap of plywood, things you probably have in your shop or on the job site. So let's start with the plywood. It doesn't have to be a large piece. This one's about 6 inches wide, but really 3 or 4 inches would be enough. And it's about 3 feet long. It doesn't even have to be plywood. It can be MDF or melamine or particle board, any sheet good. What you do need is one factory cut edge, so you know that at least that edge is straight. Because unlike solid wood, manufactured sheet goods are relatively stable. Each edge is much more likely to remain straight after it's cut at the mill than a solid board's edge will. That's why we're using a piece of plywood to straighten our solid board. Run that factory edge against the table saw fence and skim the other edge. Now you know that both edges are straight. Next, bump the fence over just a little bit. You want an amount that's equal to the thickness of your saw blade's kerf. That's usually 1/8 of an inch or a little less if you're using a thin kerf blade. I recommend just cutting a little bit on the end of the plywood and then making small adjustments to your fence until the side of the tooth is cutting flush with the edge of your plywood. Once you have that position, continue to skim the edge for about 2 feet, then stop and turn off the saw. Now, without moving the fence, flip the board end for end and slide it back between the fence and the blade so that the point that remains on the edge is as close to the riving knife as possible. Clamp it down and you're ready to joint your board. This one has a little bit of a concave edge. I'm going to run that edge against the edge of my plywood, making sure I maintain contact throughout the cut. It should only take 1 or 2 passes and the edge should be nice and straight. You can now run that newly straightened edge against your table saw's fence and rip the opposite edge straight and parallel to the first one. Keep in mind that you should straighten the concave or hollow edge of the board first. If a board has one hollow edge, the opposite edge is probably crowned. A crowned edge will rock as you run it through the saw. A hollow edge will always give you 2 points of contact so you can make a stable cut. That's why you joint the hollow edge, then you use it as a reference on your rip fence to rip away the crowned edge. A few weeks ago, we featured the M-Power SBS sharpening system in our Cool Tools video series. A lot of our viewers were really excited about it, so I talked M-Power into giving us a temporary discount code. It's Stumpy40, Stumpy40, all caps. I'm going to put it below the video. There's also a link there that you have to use, and that will save you $40, which is quite a bit off the purchase price. It's only good for 1 week, so use the link in the code below the video while you can. If you didn't see that Cool Tools video segment, here's a quick review. The M-Power SBS sharpening station is an idea that was 4 years in the making, designed to provide everything you need right in one place so you can sharpen and strop your tools quickly and get right back to work. It begins with 3 diamond plates. There's 300, 600, and 1200 grit. After sharpening, you pop back on the magnetic stropping plates, which are color-coded to accept 3 levels of honing compound, including 1800, 2500, and 5000. When your tool's razor sharp, everything, including the compound sticks, the lapping fluid, it all goes back in the case. You could even add a little honing jig in there if you wanted to. It's really a great idea. I like the simplicity of it. No more hunting around the shop for what you need. It is all in one place. In fact, I think it'll be just the thing to take with me when I travel. I like to carve when I'm on the road. I've made plenty of videos about diamond stones in the past. There are a lot of good diamond systems out there, and I'm not saying you should toss the ones that I've recommended before and buy this one. But if you're looking for a new system or a second one for working outside the shop, the M-Power SBS system is something you should at least take a look at. I'll link to it below this video.